Hi, everybody. This is 1900 his barracks room, and he was taken to a soundproof room not far away. Remember the seal. Remember the seal on the arms room door. Don't ever forget that. Very important. That was a lot of obstruction of justice there. Um, and he was taken there, and his life was taken. His body then was stolen off of Fort Bliss and dismembered and trafficked across the border to Mexico. So we are in, you know, over 5 years, way over 5 years, and we have accomplished, miracles. When you consider the obstruction, the tampering with Richard's file, the leaking, the all the deception, it's the retaliation, the incredible retaliation that we've received with the threats and everything that is still ongoing. Okay, it's still ongoing. And with all of that deception, with all of that interference, with all of the tampering, with all of the obstruction, we have just moved forward to uh, now confirmed that Richard was murdered in the line of duty, that his body was trafficked over to Mexico. Um, we have the prime suspects, Dallas Hart, Leilani Hart, former CID agent who had his badge terminated, Tavita Nusa. We have those prime suspects who, Tavita Nusa even confessed to harming. We and the leaking. So we have just uncovered a whole network with all the hard evidence. We have so much evidence. It is just thick. It is so thick and deep. And so we move the Board of Inquiry to absolutely, they're totally had no other choice, because during the April of 2024, they didn't want to um, admit to what the evidence declared. They didn't want to, but they did. They had to, because the evidence is so thick, so deep, so compelling that they had to. And then when President Trump was sworn in, that very day, he started working, started his eyes were on Fort Bliss. His eyes were on El Paso. His eyes were on the border. That's where his eye, because that's the epicenter. And from day one, um, he's been working towards the all the policies, all of his administration policies to bring Richard home and to get accountability. And how do we know this? Because we have been on the receiving side of all of this work. From the declaration um, of Richard being in the line of duty, the which absolutely confirms that he was killed for what he was whistleblowing on, the Walmart mass shooting orchestration, and also the criminal trafficking, all kinds of criminal trafficking. But then also August 6th and 7th, the letters that President Trump personally sent us absolutely confirmed what he's working towards, and the status of Richard as a hero, that will never be forgotten. That means a big hero. It was not just a letter that any Gold Star family gets. This was over and above. This was just very, very seldom in the history of the United States such a letter was written. So this confirms Richard's status. So, so we absolutely understand where we're at right now, because this is, and I want to make sure everyone understands this fight, this battle that we're at right now. We are at the vicious battle of negotiating the repatriation of Richard's remains back to us. That is where we're at right now. And in that vicious battle, because you know that Mexico is a narco state, everyone knows that. Chihuahua is absolutely ruled by the cartels, and it has seeped into El Paso and even onto Fort Bliss. That is why it's been very, very important for President Trump to start this by designating what the cartels are: FTOs, FTOs. And that changes everything, because he has been very quick. It's such a quick pace. He hasn't been in office a year, and what he's accomplished is absolutely astounding, because he's been working so fast at turning off all the spigots. That is in itself a master stroke. And to he's like, he can be a race car driver, right? When you're talking about engine strokes, master stroke, he can be a race car driver, because in in order for a government, a federal government, to turn off a spigot, that is, you know, in the past, that just doesn't happen, because they're all about money, 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 taking money, 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 money. We're $38 trillion in debt. Come on. They don't care if we have to digitize it, print it, whatever. They want the money. And so to turn off the spigots, it was a huge accomplishment. So being an FTO, these cartels being designated what they are, FTOs, um, will allow to freeze bank accounts, will allow to take away visas. The visas are access to their banks, right? And that's why you see in the economy so much mismanagement, because the infiltration of the cartels has been so bad. The FTOs are so bad, with all of their criminal trafficking and other criminal activity, that the money laundering was messing with our economy. The money laundering when it comes to real estate, the money laundering when it comes to LLCs, the money laundering when it comes to, um, I don't want to, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say. So uh, I'm going to stop right there. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to money laundering. So the whole funeral exposure of this funeral pipeline of recycling dead bodies, and through a transnational pipeline, um, is huge. That's the work of President Trump's administration, and the revealing of uh, Beto O'Rourke's neighbor and his business across the border, Plenitude Crematorium, the rotting body dumping ground, the flesh peddler that who knows how many went into the oven. You know, I always hated, I always said I hated COVID. I hated it. Because I just said, "Get behind me, Satan," and I just didn't even do the masking, nothing, because I was, had bigger concerns with Richard's case and the whereabouts of everything, knowing that this was that someone took his life, right? And so I hated it. But you know what? There might be, there might have been a reason because uh, these bodies that were stacked up were from 2020. They dated back to 2020. So the recycling got more profitable. Um, and they were, for unaccompanied minors or unidentified migrants. They can say the death of an unidentified migrant, and recycle across the border, recycle amongst the funeral homes and the ones that were corrupted and everything. And those are all being revealed by family members of victims. That has been revealed, and also intelligence, and this connection with Raphael Arliano Caron, with Beto O'Rourke, with Staten Street, with um, uh, the what was her name? The satanic woman, the she devil, right? That was training these young girls to do illegal C sections on young mothers and take their life because they didn't just want the baby, they also wanted their organs. And so they had to be dumping these young women's bodies. And this cross border, okay, is huge. A lot of the Mormon faction are dual citizens, right? They go back and forth. Um, there is a common denominator of the individuals involved in Richard's case and the Walmart case, that are part of the Mormon faction and or connected to the Mormon faction. It is a huge common denominator. So, when we're looking at this case, that is something that we keep our eye open to make sure to corroborate what we're saying is right. And thus far, it is growing. It is growing, and it has led to Woody Hunt, right? It has led to Woody Hunt, the Mormon faction power broker there in El Paso, that's up to no good. And his support for Veronica Escobar and Beto O'Rourke, and neither one of them are up to any good. Think about the women, think about the children, and where is Veronica Escobar? She's silent on this issue. Thank you, Lainey, for coming on. Trump is the best president. Absolutely. I mean, he is working so hard, and all of our presidents, they're men, they're fallible men, but some are up to no good, and some are absolutely. Well, I think President Trump is like no other, except for maybe George Washington, and that's because George Washington left 70,000 letters to get a good picture of what his administration was like. And he was very infiltrated, super infiltrated, by a lot of Brits that were loyal to the crown, and a lot of French. Um, and so he was in the same situation as President Trump, where you didn't know who to trust. It's just a mutinous situation. And but President Trump is just he knows what he's dealing with this time around, and he's just the president of peace, isn't he? And business bringing in jobs and money. And you see, if there is uh, s- so many traders in our country that have big businesses that don't want President Trump to succeed. They could absolutely be doing things that are sabotaging what he's doing. And even with all of that, it's kind of like with the voting, right? Even with all of their sabotaging, he rises above it. And it's just really amazing to see. And he works so hard. And we absolutely understand that because we haven't had time to sleep. You know, you just don't have time to sleep with this kind of attacks. And which brings us to the subject today of Patrick Brookshire, who now is doing indirectly what he was told that he could not do directly. So now he has um, collaborated, seems like he's collaborated with his wife and friends to continue to retaliate against us and attack us. Clearly, he's mad that we reported his disgusting attacks on our family and our son. Clearly, he's angry that we didn't take his bullying, that we absolutely reported him, and rightfully so. And rightfully so, he was disciplined, which absolutely confirms that we were right. That we were right. And so he no longer is a reliable witness. How can you be a trooper if you're no longer a reliable witness, that you will bully a Gold Star family? How can you be a reliable witness as a trooper, a DPS trooper, when you are, you know, attacking a Gold Star family, right? In order to protect the FTO cartels that he is supposed to be mandated to working against, to keep us safe, right? The Department of Public Safety. This is what his job is. And yet, we are exposing the infiltration of the cartel, and he has chosen to target us. And he targeted us after we rightfully put in our complaint against Director Jose Sanchez, the top cop, the top cop in the Department of Public Safety, the top cop that is in our region, right? And because he was caught with Danielle Nagari, or whatever her name is, Nargari, um, with the frisky business in the parking lot. And she has a fleet, but close to $1 million, right? And just the value of them. But you have to upkeep all of that. And then just about half of them have disability, veterans disability license plates on them. That's fraud. When you're a disabled vet, you have to turn in the paper, and you get one car that has a disabled vet a sticker on it, right? Plates on it. And then you get all the benefits to go with that. Why does she have half her fleet? Just about half her fleet. I have to make sure. Just about half her fleet with, and why is her lifestyle not compensable to what she would earn, right? So something is going on there. So rightfully, um, and because of Gustavo Sanchez, the ranger that was assigned to our family, um, because he is connected to Willie Moya and Arturo Alba, who were their lives were taken because they were cartel. And he's connected, they're all connected to Nadal Bayim, right? Through their family, and also connected to Manny Chavira, the chief, uh, the fire chief that was made into the El Paso ISD chief of police without a peace officer's license. That caused a lot of ruckus. But, this is all connected. We're connecting the dots. I'm working on a post about connecting the dots that I think should be very easy for the public to have, like it's like a key of dots. The whole alphabet of dots in Richard Halliday's case where you can connect the dots. And I think it's really, really important to see how that connects with Patrick Brookshier, the trooper, who we didn't even know who he was. He's the one that engaged in retaliation attacks against our family. Okay. He's the one that sought us out. He's the one that engaged in an unlawful retaliatory attacks against us, and we rightfully reported him. We identified the crime, we documented the crime, and we filed the crime. And that's what we did with Jose Sanchez, the director, the DPS director. They make a lot of money. I mean, Patrick Brookshier makes about 100,000 a year. Um, so Director Sanchez is even a bigger fish, and he's out there with this um, very suspect girlfriend being honey trapped, right? Being honey trapped. Um, and this is a big deal because it really breaches security. It really breaches the security in the cases. So we rightfully submitted a complaint against him, and that's when Trooper Brookshire sought us out to retaliate against us. And and that confirms that our complaints are shaking things up, right? That our complaints are absolutely shaking things up. And now, because we reported his retaliatory attacks, um, and he has been disciplined for that, he's angry, right? But that didn't stop him. He conspired, colluded together with his wife and friends to misrepresent our son's case, to misrepresent who we are, to misrepresent the complaints that we made about him, about her connection to the Mahia. She didn't even let people know that her surname is Mahia. Her surname is Mahia. It's connected. She's connected even through a address. We've double checked, triple checked. Um, to Dreams Cabaret. Now, she doesn't own Dreams Cabaret, but she's connected. Her family owns Dreams Cabaret. Where, sorry, it's almost 1 o'clock, where um, Leilani Hart was receiving her mail. That's important because Leilani Hart is a prime suspect in the murder of our son, including her son, Dallas Hart, who was Richard's platoon leader, and her cousin, boyfriend, whatever, um, intimate somebody, uh, the dirty CID agent there on Fort Bliss who had his badge terminated because of his misconduct. So, um, it, this is all very, very important because when you know that Gustavo Sanchez is connected to Nadal Bayim and Manny Chavira, and which then Manny Chavira is connected to Bob Moore of El Paso Matters, who was together with their families targeting Richard. Targeting Richard. This is all um, identified, documented, and filed. And so when you know this, and then you are on the receiving side of Trooper Brookshire and his friends and family associates, this is really it's telling. It's telling a huge story. And then when you find out that his friends, like Lester Estebes, Estevez, I hope I say his name right, is working in the same office as Director Sanchez's girlfriend, Daniela, right? I mean, you can't even make that up. So the very people attacking you are now even more connected to Jose Sanchez, right? And and then Lester Esteban's uh, teacher teacher wife, you know, threatens us online, and you know, she's good friends with, well, seems like it, with Jessica Brookshire. So, and with all the connections that they have, now they have to be very careful because of course, they feel so emboldened that they can do this to a desperate um, Gold Star family. And and they're right when they say desperate, because we're desperate for our son's remains. We're desperate to give his soul peace. We're desperate to bring him home. We're desperate to hold these people accountable for what they did to our son, what they did to our military, what they did to the El Paso community, what they did to the election, right? What they did to President Trump in his first administration. We are, all that unjustness is need that needs to all be put right. It needs to be put right. So yes, but the thing is, they forgot who President Trump is, that and what he has now signed in his executive order, what he has accomplished legally in order to hunt down these FTOs and take their life. And he says that we're not going to have a a declaration of war. Those that are trafficking, that are bringing in drugs in our country, we're going to take their life. That's it. Because the damage that when you've been on this end, you just see, the harm that they have done, the lives that they have taken, um, and the deception, the unbridled deception of these people. They have, uh, they just, all that they do. And so for Patrick Brookshire, Trooper Brookshire, to do indirectly what he has been told he cannot do directly, um, to go get his family and friends to attack us, to try to put a false narrative out there, um, in order to intimidate or to also witness tamper, by misleading the public in what's happening in this case, and misleading um, eh, those necessary, and who received the complaints that we made, to mislead them and to try to discredit us. But it's not working. It's absolutely not working. And we have absolutely responded to all of this mess, because now it directly brings in Director Sanchez to this retaliatory, um, these actions that are so unlawful. That Trooper Brookshire, maybe he was ordered to do it. I don't know. So he is absolutely um, unhinged, unhinged, because we're getting close, y'all. We're in the vicious negotiations for the repatriation of our son, to bring him home. That's where we're at right now. And, it's, we're going to stand firm, and we're not going to let bullies try to intimidate or try to sabotage that negotiation, try to sabotage it, or mislead the public in what we're trying to accomplish here. So, and if we see crime on the way in through our investigations, we are documenting it and we are filing it because we don't want other people to be hurt. It is our duty to report the crime that we see. It is our duty because this crime has been allowed to go on for so long that it has ruined so many lives, so many lives. And you see the depths that this takes you in, where you have the she devil getting 14, 15, 16-year olds to perform illegal C-sections to which harm the babies in many of the cases because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And then they take these babies, many of them injured, and then they market them to homosexual couples in America. Now, if that's not like, where is Veronica Escobar in all of this, right? And then if that's not enough, they take the organs of the mother and leave the mother for dead. Of course, leave the mother for dead. And then where are they disposing of these women, of these young women? So this is, you know, uh, this is where it leads back to why is the she devil's family member working for Beto O'Rourke's company, right? And why is it that the home next to Beto O'Rourke has a company that is connected to Plenitude Crematorium? That's a transportation company, right? That's a transportation company. Um, there are no coincidences, y'all. There are no coincidences. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is billions of dollars in trafficking, um, and what's really frustrating is that they use taxpayer money. They become representatives or they get humanitarian aid or whatever. They absolutely use taxpayer money, and it's just now it's all coming out. And I want to be very positive about this because this is President Trump exposing all of this, and he doesn't just come out and say it, even though he did with the she devil, right? He came out and said it through Tulsi Gabbard, but you have to absolutely know what's happening when he's turning off the spigot, when he is redesignating criminal organizations so that he will have more um, authority to take away their monies, their properties, and everything that they have um, gained from illegal activity. So this is, and take away their visas, right? Take away their visas and deport those that are illegally in this country. You can deport Leilani Hart. You can deport Mario Raskin Ortiz. You can absolutely deport those two. So, and there's another one in there too. Um, so we are absolutely moving forward at the speed of light. And I know you're like, wait a minute, you're over 5 years. A lot of people never even get any answers at all. It just, they are so good at cleaning up their messes. Um, a lot of people never ever get any answers at all, but we're getting answers and we're moving it absolutely forward to getting justice. And it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And Richard pulled on a string that unraveled the whole damn thing there. And I hate to say it that way, but that is exactly what I was told, and I agree with it. Those were not my words. That was, Richard came there. He was distinguished honor graduate, guidon bearer, fastest runner in his unit. Um, uh, what is that? The medical badge that he got, and just absolutely ready to document the crime and file it. He filed it, and he was an absolutely reliable source with a stellar record, and they were freaking out. He pulled on the string, and it started the unraveling of the whole damn Mormon uh, faction, cartel, FTO, criminal network there along the El Paso, Juarez, Chihuahua border. And it includes all kinds of criminal trafficking. Of course, it includes the orchestration of the Walmart mass shooting and all of the cover up, everything, and absolutely. And that's why when they did their counter intelligence move with Ray Velarde, the billionaire lawyer, the billionaire cartel lawyer of El Mayo. They wanted to know what Richard had done and said, and I'm sure that he, because not knowing who Ray Velarde is, absolutely confided in him, and the case was dismissed, and then soon after that he was forcibly removed and his life was taken from him because he absolutely reported and pulled that string that you just once it's done, and now we're seeing um, uh, the retaliation. These friends from Brookshire, these friends, and DPS is watching. So I want to tell DPS this. DPS, um, OIG, Ayala. None of these people came on until we reported Director Sanchez. Okay. And it is not a coincidence that these people are connected to Sanchez's girlfriend, right? That they are connected to Richard's case, y- you know, uh, and they did not come on until uh, we were aware of um, the unlawful behavior and security risk that the top cop, Director Jose Sanchez, was engaged in. And we reported that. And then when Brookshire and his uh, potty mouth of lies, of deception, came and sought us out, we didn't even know who he was. But it's no coincidence, all of his connections. And for him to do that, to retaliate, um, it required us, he gets taxpayer money, 100,000 a year. There would be a lot of people that want that job, that would honor the job of the mandate of the Department of Public Safety to fight against the infiltration of these cartels, these FTOs. So it was our duty to document his violations, absolute violations, and he was disciplined for that. Rightfully so. And so, sure, his wife is upset. Sure, he's upset. But this is more than that. This is a concerted effort to obstruct us getting Richard home, because that's where we're at right now. It is a concerted effort to obstruct President Trump's administration against the criminal activities of the cartel. It is a concerted effort to sabotage what is right and good and allow people like the she-devil continue doing their absolute diabolical crimes. So I want, our family, I want to speak for our family. We want the DPS to know that this is no coincidence that these people are coming on, and they need to be investigated. They need to be held accountable, because this is bigger than just a mad trooper. He sought us out, and now he's coordinating with his family and friends to do to continue the retaliation that he has been told he cannot do. And that's because there is something else there. There is something else there. They don't want us to get justice for our son. They don't want us to get our son's remains home. They don't want us to continue to expose the FTOs. They don't want us to continue releasing the El Paso community from this evil grip, because this she-devil is transnational, connected to Beto O'Rourke. Trump is the best. Thank you. I want to read some of these comments now. God willing, it's soon. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mama Bear Halliday. May God bless your family. Thank you so much. Thank you, because of your sharing. Because we could never do this without the support of the people, and to share and to understand that, you know, we are backing up what we're saying with evidence, and we're not giving you crumbs. We don't give you crumbs that can be misled and hidden away, swept under the rug. We're giving you the full meal, and it's hard to chew, and it's hard to digest. It really is. And that's why every day, coming on every day, and keep going, and more and more. And we could not do this without your support and without you sharing. And God bless you for that. God bless you for that. And Rob's always says, tell them we love them, because we could not do this against this DPS, against this FBI. Don't forget about Connell Wetton and Nieto and George Toros and their connections, and against the mutinous generals, against the what about Montoya? What about Montoya and his 2028 stamp? He absolutely has to be arrested. What about these imposter judges in the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court? They absolutely need to be arrested, right? They think they're kings. They're not. They're imposters. And they have not been elected. And they need to be removed. They need to be arrested. And also the chief medical examiner, who is also illegal. And Leilani Hart and her confession to the worst type of crimes against children. She's another she-devil. When you facilitate these crimes against children for decades, what do you call her? She needs to be arrested. This is, uh, you know, only can be exposed by people sharing, and talking about it and sharing some more. And also, thank you so much for all the information that you've been giving us. The truth will prevail. Yes. And I, I think this case absolutely is a demonstration that you never, ever give up. You keep going. And the truth comes out. The truth comes out. And you can be up against the Goliaths, and the truth comes out. And so it has been really a miracle. And we're very, very grateful. And we are absolutely in the most vicious negotiations for the repatriation of our son's remains. Because when we received those letters, August 6th and August 7th, from the President of the United States, do not think that that was an end, or that, he was just trying to smooth things over. He absolutely signaled to us that he knows what happened, that he knows. And we are in this vicious negotiation for the repatriation of Richard's remains. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. And we must bring home our soldier, our hero's remains. It is so important for the United States. And that's why we will not give up. We will not give up. And, these officials, Cesar Haragi and Carlos Manuel Salas, and Governor Maru Campos and her mother, Maria Eugenia Galvan, they are absolutely, this is vicious, vicious. And we have to stay the course. Stay the course. Those letters were just the beginning. Absolutely. They were just the beginning. Thank you so much. The truth with a mega combo. No crumbs at all. Absolutely. And that's what we want as people. We, yes, we understand when we get this full truth, a big plate of truth, it is hard to digest. It is hard to chew it, um, and it takes time. It takes time, and that is what we have done in over 5 years. And I think people, with the comments that everybody is leaving, it's amazing because people absolutely get it. They absolutely get it, and we are very, very grateful. So thank you, everyone. We'll come back tomorrow, God willing, and we love you. Thank you. Please share, share, share. We are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We cannot do this alone. So please.